Next up, at UFC Vegas 92, we have a returning Ariane Carnelossi taking on Piera Rodriguez. Piera Rodriguez is 9-1 in her career. She is 4-1 in her last 5. She is coming off a grappling loss to Jillian Robertson. She's taking on a returning Ariane Carnelossi, who's 14-3 in her career, 3-2 in her last 5, and she's coming back after 2 full years away. Piera Rodriguez, pretty nasty. She's a nasty striker. She's got some real finishing upside. She plots forward. She lets her hands fly. She knows exactly what she's doing, but she does wing punches from her hips, and she'll put everything into them. She's pretty good. Takedown defense at 66%. She's defensively sound on the ground if she is taken down. Plenty of takedown offense as well, with 12 takedowns in 4 fights. Her issue, however, is control. She'll take you down and you can work your way back up. You can squirm out of there. She's coming off that loss to Jillian Robertson where she was shooting takedowns when she shouldn't have been, which just completely exposed her fight IQ. As Jacob alluded to earlier, low fight IQ is kind of hard to trust, especially in this case. She's fighting the Terminator. She's fighting an American Gladiator. This is Storm from the American Gladiators. Ariane Carnelossi's bicep is bigger than my head. And she is returning after 2 years. I didn't know why. I looked it up. I didn't really see it. I assumed it was a USADA issue. She looks like there would be a USADA issue here, but it was not. She had back surgery. Ariane Carnelossi is very aggressive. She's very strong, obviously. She's willing to fight in a fire, and she's got good takedown defense, very nice ground and pound if she ends up on top. I say ends up on top because she doesn't have great takedowns. She doesn't really shoot a ton of them, but she can bully you to the ground. She's coming off that decision loss. It was 2 years ago, but that decision loss to Lupi Godinez. And it is an interesting breakdown here. I am a huge fan of fading long layoffs. I will say Tisha Torres or Tisha Pennington looked pretty good after a 2-year layoff. Looked very good after a 2-year layoff, and a lot of people think she won that fight. That does have me questioning a little bit, but I think a 2-year layoff with a couple of major surgeries in the mix aren't going to bode well for Ariane. Ariane already didn't have the best cardio. She's not the most skilled fighter. She's just a bruiser. And I think Piera Rodriguez can come forward, wing the punches, bully a little bit, get her own takedowns, and she'll be pushed up against the cage, and this will be a very sloppy fight. But I think the inactivity is going to be working against her as Piera Rodriguez is just going to move forward, winging punches from the hip at full speed. I am going to pick Piera Rodriguez here. If there was not a long layoff in the mix, I might be on the Carnelossi side, but Piera Rodriguez, fresh. We did see a little bit of low fight IQ out of her, but I actually wouldn't mind seeing that in this fight. Let me see the takedowns in this fight. So Piera Rodriguez is going to be my pick, but, I mean, look at this physical specimen. What do you think, Jakey? Boy.
Yeah, I mean, Muay Thai black belt, Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I think she was a national Brazilian wrestling champion. I do not know why Ariane Carnelossi is the biggest dog. I get, that it was, a little bit of a layoff, and she did get mauled by the best Lupi we've ever seen. Lupi's never looked like that before or after that fight. That was a locked-in wrestling game plan Lupi that really just kind of muscled her, but she showed in that fight, and there was no quitting her. I mean, every single time she was taken down, she was doing everything she could to get back to her feet, and I love that. We talked about last time with Vanessa, right? You feel like Vanessa's always going to be in the fight because she's just always going to be working towards that win. I think Ariane is the same way. You guys know, a few weeks ago that I had Cynthia picked against Piera. That fight ended up dropping for the same reasons. I thought Cynthia was a little bit nastier, a little bit meaner in those positions. She was going to work through them. I've seen Piera, get taken down by Kay Hansen. Right? Getting taken down by Jillian Robinson. Those aren't the best. Those are really good grapplers. I mean, those are kind of small, jiu-jitsu type takedowns, taken down pretty easily, controlled a little bit, submitted by Jillian. Obviously, if you go to ground by Jillian, you're going to get submitted, but not a lot of fight once she loses that position, right? I think she even tried to fake a tap, I didn't tap. That type of bullshit is what I see in a girl like Piera. I think she's talented, but I don't think she's the better striker. I definitely don't think she's the better wrestler or grappler. And if push comes to shove, we get late second round. This is a close fight. We're going into the third round, 1-1. I think I can trust Ariane. I've seen her really try to tough through situations. I've seen the Instagram. She looks like she's been working hard, really working on that boxing as well, looking crisp. She's in the same camp as Jean Matsumoto, who we just saw steamroll Dan Argueta. Really high-level dude everywhere. striking, grappling, everything. It's a great camp to be in. She was in his corner. I assume that he's going to be in hers as well. I think she's going to be more than ready off the layoff, and I think there's a chance she can steamroll Piera here. So I just think she's better everywhere, and I'm going Ariane.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. If there was not a layoff here, I'm very layoff heavy. Layoffs are not good, and it's very hard to look good after a layoff. Obviously, we just saw Tisha Pennington do it, but that is the oddity. That is not the normal case. I do think if Ariane gets taken down, if Piera Rodriguez comes forward and gets all of those takedowns that she has been getting, what did I say? She had 12 takedowns in her last 4 fights. If she gets that game plan, gets that going, I think Ariane is going to be in a little bit of trouble. She does not fight very well off her back. She's not really throwing things up, but she is strong as shit, so taking her down is not going to be easy. Are you worried about her getting taken down?
She'll be fine. This isn't Loopy on top of her. This is Piera Rodriguez. She'll sweep Piera and outwork her eventually.
Yeah, it will be. I agree. These odds are probably a little bit wide, especially after we just saw Piera Rodriguez get a little bit exposed. What I will say is I saw a few comments like getting submitted by Jillian Robertson's a joke. Jillian Robertson quite literally has the most amount of submissions in this division. She has the record for most strawweight women's submissions. She might even have the record for most women's submissions. So it's not... Like you said, you literally said if you end up on the ground with Jillian Robertson, you might get submitted. So I wouldn't shame her for the getting submitted. She should not have been shooting takedowns to get there to begin with, though. But I wouldn't mind that in this fight.
And this is a complete 180 to me because I was against her as lock of the week with Liang Na. Liang Na was almost the greatest lock of the week of all time. Dropped her with the very first punch, but another example of adversity, right? She got dropped with the very first punch, found a way to work through it. Liang Na, a very, very, and the same thing could happen here. A very high-level grappler was all over in that first round. Ariane kept making her work, and ended up gassing her out, and Ariane was able to get that second round finish. I think the same thing, maybe Pierre gets that early takedown. Ariane's going to make you fucking work, and we'll see who has the dog in him once that second round starts.
Dude, my neighbor is beeping his horn. He's in his driveway, beeping his horn, and I was like, what the hell is that? And then I get a text, Ange, did you hear my horn? And I said, yeah. And he goes, way to work through it. He's literally just trying to fuck with me during the stream. Did you hear it? This is too good of a microphone. Yeah, it has too good of a microphone.
Oh,
Did you hear it? Yeah, what a fucking asshole. This is what I deal with. Anyway, $8,800 in DraftKings. I imagine you're going to use up a prime spot in your lineup for Piera Rodriguez.
Ariane will be in mine.
I agree. I actually think Ariane's probably not a terrible price point at $7,400 because if she does win, she should score well. So just do some mauling and be huge. If she loses, it probably is still a decision and she'll just get taken down a ton of times. Might put up a few decent points. I actually think if I have to pick between these two for my DraftKings lineup, Ariane makes a little bit more sense. And if you do want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the round line leans, and more, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It is only $10 for an entire month. Before you go, let me give you $50. Anybody who goes to WeWantPicks.com/bets and signs up with any one of our affiliate partners gets $50 as a thank you. Use the link, sign up, make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you.